With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. These are the words spoken by FDR in the aftermath of Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. I would like to discuss the significance of this speech, named the Day of Infamy speech. First, I'm going to discuss the circumstances that made this speech necessary, and second, the impact, long and short term, that it had. As for the circumstances, for those of you who don't know, in the early to mid-1900s, there was a rising tension between the U.S. and Japan. The U.S. had growing animosity toward the aggressive expansion efforts of Japan in the direction of China. In an attempt to put a cease to these efforts, American officials responded with a battery of economic sanctions and trade embargoes. However, the U.S.'s actions only increased the determination of Japan and brought them closer to war. The Day of Infamy speech was necessary because the people of the U.S. needed their leader to speak up in a time of despair. One day prior to the great speech given by President Roosevelt, the military base in Honolulu, Hawaii, named Pearl Harbor, was attacked by hundreds of Japanese fighter planes. The Japanese were not able to cripple the Pacific Fleet, but they did destroy hundreds of American planes, vessels, and ships. However, thousands of lives were lost, which was a trying time for the American people. Citizens were in a state of shock and fear. They needed their president's words in a time of weakness. They needed him to be their strength, and that he was. President Franklin D. Roosevelt proposed a declaration of war. We have just discussed the circumstances that made the speech necessary. Now we will discuss the short and long-term impacts that the speech had. FDR's speech on December 8, 1941 received nothing but positive feedback. His words resounded first in a joint session of Congress. Within 33 minutes of his speech, there was a unanimous vote in the Senate in support of war. There was only one anti-war vote in the House. The speech was then broadcast live on radio. 81% of American households were listening. The response from these listeners was overwhelmingly positive. Telegrams hit the White House praising the president, and volunteers rushed recruiting stations. The Day of Infamy speech had a clear and long-term lasting impact on the dynamics of the world today. Not only is it the standard American narrative for the events that happened that day at Pearl Harbor, but it is also embraced in Hollywood in numerous war films known as Wake Island, Air Force, and Betrayal in the East. In addition, the speech still stirs up emotions of pride in the American people. The events that occurred on 9/11/2001 brought the themes of the FDR speech back to the forefront of American minds. George W. Bush linked the infamous days in history to invoke the same attitudes in citizens years later. This speech was, and always will be, a symbol of strength and resolve of our nation. Today we have investigated first the circumstances that made this speech necessary, and second, the impact that it had. We gained the inevitable. FDR was right. We gained the inevitable triumph after a long and taxing world war. This war shaped and strengthened our country for the better. It brought us together as a people and a nation. If it not for the confidence and assertiveness of FDR on his Day of Infamy speech after Pearl Harbor, our present